The book, many people on joy and biscuits. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Biscuits. Oh, welcome home. You never gave up. Wow.
I never gave up.
No.
We came huge, so wow. I feel like this is it.
And when you pray more and more for something, when you get it, it's with all the whistles and bells.
Yes,
and
it is.
love, and you know, it's like I don't know, with fur covering and everything. It's
and also like it's so sudden. You know, there's so much waiting, and then that's right. Yes, I feel like I experienced that.
I know. I went through it. So me too. Oh, I didn't hear. Wow. And just 3 hours to get on the plane.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You feel you're almost not going to make it.
You don't need your phone. You need your shovel. I am. Wait a minute.
Well, it's still fresh for me, so I appreciate it.
Everything. Yeah. You have to share the this and that.
Yeah.
It's fresh for us 30 years later.
Yes,
It doesn't lose.
always be fresh. Should always
like a child, childlike, people of excitement and joy, appreciation and wonder. We're children, tiny, to grow up or be boring, heavy, done there, but one it.
Yeah, like children have some good sweets and nice things. We're so happy for it.
You're welcome. Happy you're with us.
It is the holding spot. Yes. It's a curious also. I guess you're I don't visit. I go visit. I love visiting. I think she lives. Yeah. Everybody. Shem has where he wants us.
Right. It's great where he wants us, where we want to be.
Yeah. We said, what are you doing there? She wants to be there. It's very hard. It's very beautiful and get plenty of exercise.
Right.
Yeah. It's true.
And if your other lies fully loaded, you get all exercise.
The hills are a bit challenging sometimes, but I do love it. It took me a long time. I don't go out for evening. I do, then I feel it. And I feel it. But if I'm out there and doing it, I pick up a muscle that didn't know I possessed.
It's meaningful. You can see please our sources of what we're learning from in this week's Parsha, which is again Avraham Avinu, our dear forefathers. Again, gives us one of the first of three chesed gives us that says it all. Gives us the DNA, gives us what we have to live on with chesed and his ahava and his amuna and he was like Avram Haya Echad. He was one, and the rest of the world was on the other. And he didn't look, and wasn't afraid. He didn't say, "Okay, I'm being like so different, and everyone's telling me I'm crazy, and I'm gonna." No, right? He just saw Hashem.
I've been crazy or something's happening. It was just you and me.
You're his real daughter, he and Sarah.
Yeah.
And what a joy. Like you said, what a joy. Reverend Shane gave us a class once. Shane, not all for the boss, who wrote all for the boss, but a younger sister-in-law.
Oh.
And she said they moved to Mat's store so many years ago. It was just a hill.
Oh.
And there was maybe one building. And now it's the middle of, Romania, Matas. It's the middle. You can't imagine it being a hill. And when they took out the suitcase from the taxi from the airport, it opened and rolls of toilet paper went all over the hill. And the kids were picking it up, the Israelis, because they thought to bring it along. And every morning, good morning. Every morning when she, hi, Bachikana, good to see you. You want to say hello?
Hi, Bachikana.
Your friends.
Hello.
This is Malka.
Hi, nice to
friend.
meet you.
This is me. And every morning when she'd wake up right after Moida Ani, she would say, "Thank you, Hashem, that I live in Yerushalayim."
Oh, wow.
So I sort of tried to take on that. Thank you, Hashem, that we live in Eretz Yisrael. We live in Tzfat. Thank you so much. Actually, we were given advice that right after Moida Ani to say or to think right in the morning, so it sets us up on the right foot. Help me please to remember there's another world. In other words, this is not the only world. When we remember that, so when things are not so great, okay, we're getting through it. What, 120 years is like that? Okay, there's a bigger, better place forever. That we can't even imagine the joy and the simcha and the excitement and the fulfillment. We can't imagine it. It's beyond the. And also when things are great, let's get too like carried away. Oh yeah, I have it, 2 bank accounts, or they're minus, or I it's just like 2 minuses make a plus. Yeah, right. 2 negative, that should work with traits. 2 negative traits make up.
Well, yeah, we draw back out.
Look, tshuva me'ava takes all the negative, and instead of turning it into tshuva, we do tshuva from fear of Hashem, which is a wonderful, why we should be at that level. Then whatever we did on purpose turns into like accidental, which is much less. It was a mistake. I was tired. I was hungry. I didn't realize it was wrong. But from love, anything we did negative, God forbid any of those sins, even on purpose, it becomes a zechus. It becomes positive. It becomes closer to Hashem. So a person that had, like you're saying, a negative bank account of $10,000, does tshuva from Ava, it turns into, so he wants a really negative bank account, because if it's a minus million, it's going to be plus million. Not that we're suggesting God forbid anyone does a sin, but we are saying how great tshuva me'ava, to repent from love. Hashem's just waiting for our love. And the thing that I feel most is when how can we get to such a high level? Avram Avinu was Avram Ohavi. We're Zera Avram Ohavi. The Navi says we're the children of Avram, my beloved. What a beautiful, beautiful title. What a beautiful way to be called, my beloved. And because he was so beloved and he loved Hashem so much, he was willing to give his son Yitzchak, who he had prayed for, who was born when he was 100 years old. Who Hashem had said, this is going to be the beginning of the Jewish people through him, through Yitzchak, and now bring him up. And he didn't understand. Many people, God said, if Hashem said to someone, go there or do that, we'll do it. It's from Hashem. But the important, beautiful, deep love that he didn't question. He had total faith. It's true, Hashem had said to him, he'll be your offspring. He will be continuation, the beginning of the Jewish people. He didn't question. He said, my mind is too finite, unhuman. Hashem said to do it. Hashem is not just Hashem, but he's great. Not just great, he's kind. And if he told me to do it, I'll do it. And that's what we have also in our DNA. Just follow Hashem and to return to Eretz Yisrael during a war, to live here. I came a little early today. all you wonderful tzadikot are preparing the meal. And I came like 10 to 9. As a middle davening, I started on the bus, so I finished here in this room. And it sounded like a bunch of teenagers laughing and joking. Did you pass the salt? Did you get the zatar? Did you put it in yet? You know, like 2 hours ago, we had a zakah, like, stuff up. Yeah, we did. Oh, you slept through it, maybe.
It was
Oh,
one,
was it
one,
last
just in-
night?
it was-
One
it was
one in the
13
morning.
something.
Yeah.
When?
At 1:20.
Exactly, yeah, it was.
And like-
ridiculous.
Nobody's gonna stop us because we're Hashem. We're His beloved. And tired, yeah. So
Go back
parents.
to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard to go back to sleep after that.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
I feel like
Good. But every time there's an azakah, instead of just trying to survive it, like let's get through this one, let's try to thrive in the azakah. How can we thrive? It's a moment that Hashem called us, my dear daughter, my dear child. Look at me. Who in the world? He's doing like a like a ultrasound or a CT or
MRI.
MRI. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. It's even with the sound effects.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's a washing machine. And he's looking, who's looking up at me? Who's not looking on the news? Okay, it was over there, it was sent by them, it was this size, it was, who's looking at me? Hashem help us. Tehillim, David HaMelech, dance a little bit, Lamtikat Hadin, to sweeten it. Say, it's only you, it's only you. We're not afraid of them because you sent them to wake us up. Now send us candy and chocolate and bring us here to wake us up. We'll do it with good, we'll do it with sweet, we'll do it with your love, your revealed love. And it's an opportunity. We have 10, we sit 10 minutes. I hear most people don't have and use this 10 minutes to like enjoy Hashem's hug because he's definitely watching us and waiting to see our reaction. And he's so proud of us. The song we sing on Simchas Torah, one of my favorites, it's in Aramaic. I can't pronounce it that well, but how the Jewish people celebrate Simchas Torah, which could be learning Torah right now. I don't think it has to be just, that holiday. He says to his angels, to the family in heaven, look at my beloved children. They forget their own personal problems or problems of all Eretz Yisrael, the Jewish people. And they busy themselves with my chedva, with my joy. Look at them. So if we could just dance and sing and say words of tachon in those 10 minutes, and then thank Hashem, we're here. We're here singing and dancing. Thank you. And we're here this morning. Just malay mizmar l'saida to thank Hashem for all his miracles that he did, does, and will continue to do. Culminating in the big one, like Karen said, we'll dance together before Mashiach. We'll be up there in the first row, you know what I mean? 70-year-olds.
Yeah, I was 70 today.
I remember
Right.
I remember when
We
we
do.
first started after the war started, I was so nervous and so sort of what's happening. I've never been in a war situation before, and just recently before Yom Tov, before Rosh Hashanah, before Sukkot, and I was baking challah and there was a zakah, and I thought my challahs have better not burn.
You make them laugh, make them laugh. Like you're worried about your challahs, it's so precious. Like nothing's gonna bother our Shabbos or our challahs.
The problem is we're getting used to them, like I used to run downstairs, and now I go out to the porch and I look and they're usually over there. And I'm like, that's too far away. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to my kitchen.
You know where I live, nobody, there's a shelter literally outside of that garden. We literally have to just go out our flat and our apartment and we're there. But most people are not, when the first time the sign went off, it was absolutely packed full. Now people just at the bottom of the stairs.
Hashem should protect us wherever we are. We should turn to him. He's our savior. He's our clouds of glory. He's our hug. He's everything. And when we feel that, we feel safe, protected. We do all these shadlahs. We go there, we go there, we go wherever. But we know who has our back, who's taking care of us. Hashem Hatov, Leadership Hashemayim.
If you get caught, I've been caught twice out, and under exploding overhead, and there's no way I could get anywhere. You know,
You threw yourself on the ground.
I was in the parking lot, and my husband was in the car, and I'm running to get him. And the guy in the store is running after me to get me. It was a circus.
Well, I know the ideal thing. Apparently, they say lay yourself on the ground, but getting up again afterwards.
Yeah, I can't get up.
I'm going to put my 82-year-old husband who has mobility difficulties on the ground. But they gave percentages. There is a percentage of if you're sitting up, there's this percentage. If you're lying on the ground, it's the best percentage, of course. And if you're just standing up, that's not so good.
Yeah, many people in wheelchairs face disadvantage. You can't get there.
One of the teachers said if she went on the ground, they would need a tow truck to pick her up. Like, forget it. But anyway, we have so much to learn from Avram Avinu, so much hakaras hatov, because he's in us. He's in our DNA. It's not like, it's from the books and who can be like the professor. No, it's inside of us. And what are the many things that he teaches us that we learn from Avram Avinu in this parsha, we bring it into our lives. Who knows? Like, what do we know about Avram Avinu? Can anyone remember or remind us a story or something from him?
Tear up his house and the idols were hitting the idols with that stick.
And he broke them. I think I thought at age 5. Somebody told me at age 3 he recognized
I
Hashem.
agree.
Wow. We'll do 3. Wow. And he was, Navi says, Avram Haya Echad. He was on one side and the rest of the world on the other, and he didn't care. He says, I know what's true. I'm following my truth. Like Karen said, that beautiful quote. I walk to a different drummer. In dancing, we love to dance around here. People look at you like crazy when you're dancing if they don't hear the music. We hear the music. My dear children, it's all good. Dance with me. Dance for Mashiach. Hear my music of love. And then we can't stay still like Yaakov Avinu by Libos Raglav. His heart lifted his feet. You can't stand still. You just have to. Your heart is just so full it overflows. So the expression is to dance. And actually, machol is very good. Like the word machol, chole, machala, sickness, God forbid. Machol, dancing sweetens decrees. It could make a person better. And so it's a shout. You're the biggest dancer I know. You're bringing Mashiach with your dancing.
Okay, let's just be like very vulnerable and shakuf. I know that everybody needs to dance, and why do I get everybody to dance? Because I know I need to dance, and I won't do it otherwise.
Right.
Like more rarely, I'm like, I should really be dancing. But, that's like everybody says I should really not eat this chocolate.
Yeah, should really exercise.
Should really dance. So it's like we could know something, but there's a.
So you help yourself through helping others.
Yeah, I have to.
It's a
I have to
win-win.
plan to do an event, or else I won't do it.
It's a win-win. Oh, Viva makes these amazing events on the Kinneret, dancing. Wow, amongst others.
I want to do it. I want to do a weekly one in spot.
Beautiful. So look, we're joining you. We have the top of Miriam. We're with you. And I try to dance around the living room table every day. I'm trying for 10 minutes. I'm making 3 or 4. But I want to. But I have to wait for someone else. Or I have to wait for an event. Just think Hashem. Also, it checks a lot of boxes. It's exercise. It's good for the emotions. It's it's like it's refreshing. It gets out whatever is clogged inside. It's holy. It's mamtik dinim. It's like on every level. Our exercise. It's Hashem. Should be zocha to do it. The parsha begins.
I was at my nephew's house and they were talking about Avram Avinu. I don't think I ever heard that they hid him for 3 years.
Hid?
Yeah.
Who's they? I didn't.
The parents.
Yeah.
Because who was the leader at the time? Nimrod knew that there was supposed to be a child that was going to come that was going to lead people, and so women were giving birth at a certain place, and if he thought that was the one, he sort of made them disappear. So she didn't go to that place
to give birth,
and they hid him for 3 years.
Interesting. His parents to save him.
Yeah.
You heard that? You both of you? Beautiful. I didn't, it doesn't ring any bell, but.
I didn't hear the first part where you said that that they knew us astrologically or something, that there was gonna be someone who took.
Nimrod knew somehow.
The main idol.
I thought the story was just that he was against idol worship and they.
Yeah, but apparently Nimrod
saved his
knew he
life.
was coming, like Pharaoh, you know.
I get it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I'm trying to recall what I did or read back then too, but I thought that Nimrod knew that he had a child, but I don't know if it's this age or whatever now, because I never heard this before. But I thought it was when he was a baby that Nimrod knew, and so Nimrod said, "You're a baby, and bring him here and whatever or something." And he took another maid's baby, something like this, yeah. So he took that baby, and I think they killed that baby, and then the mother probably took Avram and hid him or whatever. But that's how it goes. Yeah. Something.
Interesting, like who was it? Yocheved hid Moshe for 3 months. Yeah. Beginning. Oh, look, I got lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
three years, 3 months.
yeah, right.
Always a 3 years.
And we go hide in our room when there's an azakah. Hashem was looking at us with the same love, the same like.
Yes.
Are they gonna look at me?
Yeah.
He looks like he doesn't secular like a ultrasound. Like who's gonna look at me? Who's gonna ask me for help? Who's gonna know that I'm in charge and I'm lovingly sending this for whatever. He has reasons. Look, if Avram could believe him and realize I have total amun in you, Hashem, even though he told him Yitzhak's going to be your child, and he waited all those years, and he went up to sacrifice him. So we have that in us. It's a tall order, and we're tall people. We have that in us, that strength and that conviction, that amun, and that pure reliance and love of Hashem. So our Parsha starts 3 days after Avram had the bris milah, and it's the day of most pain. And the Parsha, the Tzror Hamor said, even though Avram Avinu was very old, he did not hesitate or delay to circumcise himself. The day Hashem told him to do it is the day he did the milah, the Radak says. And just picture this. He took a knife. He's about to cut, and he was afraid because he was old. So what did Hashem do? Stretched out his hand, and he held Avram's hand. And together he helped him to cut, to make the circumcision. Like it says in Nehemiah, "V'karos imo habris." He cut the bris with him, with Hashem's hand. And I always assumed when I heard this that Avram Avinu was afraid. It's scary to cut oneself. Yeah, and recently I saw, what was he afraid of? He was afraid that his hand would shake. Older people, sometimes their hands shake. And he was afraid he wouldn't do it right. He wouldn't do it correctly. And that's what he was afraid of, not performing the mitzvah. But either way, he's human being. He's a human being. We think of him as a malach. We think of the tzaddikim as above emotions, above fear, above. No, they're human. They work on their emotions and they raise up all their fears. Help me to fear only you and not that guy or that guy, Hamas, or any of those puppets that have less strength and less power than an ant. Help me to put only you, and they work on it. And if they're jealous, help me not to be jealous, because you love everyone in this world, and it's not all for me. And I want to share the wealth, and you want to be happy. My friend is my sister, and we're all your children. Please help me. And they work on it, and then they become, at that point, they still have tremendous emotions. When I don't know if it was the Chazon Ish or somebody, I don't want to say him, but his son passed away, and it was on Shabbos, so he was singing Zemiros and having a wonderful, happy Shabbos. Oh, thank you. And Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, and right after Shabbos, he sat down, he cried, and he fainted. It's not like, there was a block or no emotion, or he's above, Hashem took him. Okay, Hashem. He fainted from sadness. My niece, I remember, my nephew's daughter had a 4-year-old that that passed away in a fire. Now, almost for a few weeks before 4. And Shabbos, they were very, very happy. They had no home. It was burnt down, so they went to a hotel for Shabbos, and they were good. And right after Shabbos, how she started to, the mother, you know, and we're human, and the tzaddikim are human. And I knew a very great, we had the merit of knowing a very great rabbi in Jerusalem. His name was Rav Michael Dorfman. He passed away 17 years ago during one of those wars. We were in Yerushalayim when he passed away. And he used to say, people come to me, he would say, and ask me to daven for a family member, a loved one, a friend, because they're sick or have another different problem. And I care about them. I write down their name and I pray. And I remember he would get up in the middle of the night at Chatzos and he would pray for people. He showed me once his list. We were very close. Our family, our children, he said, were like his grandchildren, very big zechus. And he showed my name was on the list to daven for me for Shalema. And he cared about. And he said then a couple of years later, he could meet someone. How's your daughter? Your daughter? Oh yeah, they're better already. I forgot. I'm sorry. 2 years they're better.
Yeah,
He says, I would like people to tell me good news also. I would like to rejoice in their happiness. I don't want to, I would like them to, like he's human.
This is the same
He's
thing
human.
Rebbe told people.
Yes, right. Very human. Very.
Go to the vet, you go when you need help.
Problems.
When you don't need that, when it's solved, it's like, okay, it's done.
Exactly. And I was also very close in Meisharim with, I was married to a Rebbetzin, Sarah Gittel Beitelmach. I think her husband's made bagels, maybe, I'm not sure, but she was an older woman at the time, and she lived in a hut, a broken down hut that you cannot imagine it because it was so broken down. So a big rough setup. Rebbetzin Gittel called her, I will give you half, I will buy you a new home. Like a regular nice home, in Chavia or in Romemo, and just give me half of your Olam Hab. And she said, no, nothing. And I would visit her in her home, and it was so broken down. And one day I saw her running down the shuk of Meisharim. I said, Rebbetzin Gittel, where are you going? It was almost shkia, almost getting dark. And she said, I wasn't feeling well today. I was sleeping. And then I woke up. I see it's almost dark. It's almost sunset. I'm running to do a chesed because I never want a day to go by that I don't do a chesed. And this old lady is running. She was so great that at the coastline would sometimes accompany her. Big rabbis with long white beards would come up to her. Rebbetzin Gittel, give me a bracha, give me a bracha. Wow. She was a very special woman. And she said that she's living in Tveria. She was the wife of Rabbi Yisrael Karduner. And there was a typhus epidemic, and her husband and children passed away. Right. And she said Elul is very hard for her because that's when they passed away, at least most of them. And we're talking about 60 years before, and so when we think about Avram Avinu, we don't. Yes, he was like a malach, but yes, he had all these feelings, and we can be like him because we think he's a malach or he's great. The stories of tzaddikim when they were 3 years old, they knew the Chumash by heart. Okay, so I'm 30 years old and I don't know one pasuk. Okay, cross me off. That's it. No, they had their struggles and they had their. Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter said he was so wild as a child that he knew every single roof in the old city of Jerusalem where he lived. He just climbed around the roofs, and they use everything that we have, we can use for Hashem and not give ourselves an excuse or make ourselves feel either lazy or give up. Yeah. Well, they're great. No, there's no such thing as a great neshama. I mean, they are great neshamas. We all have potential. We could be sorry, native. We could be. So this Shabbos has a very special skula. Do you know what the word skula means? Yeah. Somebody told me it helped. A spiritual, supernatural remedy. Just for the books, and it's special to convert klala to bracha, curse to blessing, because the Akedah that we read this coming week, we also read it on Rosh Hashanah, and the Kriya is ma'orer of the time. When we read it in the Torah, it becomes alive. It's always possible, but that's a special skula this time of year, Vayera, this Parsha, and through this koyach we can daven for all things. A skula, let's say an example of a skula is to get Yiras Shamayim, to look at the heaven. Like after we wake up, say, Mardani, thank you, Hashem, for bringing us to Tzfat, and help me to remember another that there's another world. Look at the heaven. And it gives
You're
us a
saying
different
it's a good to have your mind to look up.
at the heaven. Yes. It's because I don't know exactly because why, but one reason I would think is it puts everything in the proper perspective. It's not just down here, the fight I'm in, or the minus in the bank, or even the good things, not to get very, puffed up. Wow, no, there's another world. We're all on our journey, and take it and know where we're going, and to have our eyes on the ball, which is there's another world. That's for Yerushalayim. So I try to look up at the sky. I have a whole morning routine, I mean, I also get to brush my teeth, wash my face afterwards, but it's like to look up and to ask Hashem. The Biala Rebbe Zal, who just passed away 3 months, used to say, today's going to be a fantastic day for the Jewish people. So I took that custom, Bli Neder.
Oh, wow.
And I added also to be a fantastic day for like myself and my friends, my family, amongst all the Jewish people, amongst the whole world. Let us all return to Hashem and recognize Him. And so,
there is like me thinking when you say to look up and think of another world, because I'm thinking when the Jews had the revelation at Sinai, the heavens opened itself, and so they saw the 7 heavens and some the other worlds up there, and it's important because really our actions and everything doesn't just affect this world, it affects the worlds about too. So,
they do, and we don't realize it. We're so powerful. We're so we have so much strength, and why turn over and go back to sleep? Why say, okay, I have to kill the afternoon? Nobody's looking at me. What I do or say doesn't really count. Doesn't change it. Changes worlds.
It does.
Changes worlds. A smile has a ripple effect to change worlds, and
that's it.
and we could do so much. We could never be bored. I think the word bored is not in the dictionary of a Jew. I don't know if you cut out the word bored. It shouldn't be, because call someone and make them happy. Smile in the mirror and make yourself happy. Make funny faces and whatever you're holding. I can't feel sympathetic that I have mitzvahs and that I can do mitzvahs and I'm a Jew. Let me make myself happy by doing silly things like sounding like a kitty cat or a dog. Meow, and then I'll get on the right track, and that joy will be true joy. Shasani Kirtzono, that I can do mitzvahs today. When we do a mitzvah, that's the true happiness, because we're touching eternity. We're not, we're in touch with Hashem and eternity when we say Mardani. And so what could make us happier? Sometimes we're not on. We're like, it doesn't do it for me. Oh, it's Shabbos tomorrow. Oh, what else is new? It's exciting. And after Havdalah, 6 days left, Tuesday night, we're on the other half. But if it doesn't do it, it's not acting like making funny noises or funny pictures or doing funny things. I sometimes do a circle when I'm outside, and my son says, Mom, like a circle. I said, it's okay, nobody noticed, and if they did, I'm old enough that it doesn't matter. It's one of the perks.
You do a circle?
No, I go like this. I'm outside. I just want to dance, but I can't dance inside. I twirl like this, and now I pretend I'm picking up something. And he was a little embarrassed, I said, it's okay. It's okay. My age, we get a lot of discounts. We get on the bus half price, so we get a discount. You could, I could finally be me, the kid inside of me. I never grew up, but I'm working on it. But I don't want to. Yeah.
Things when your kids were teenagers.
Yeah. Well, then I wasn't yet who I am, my age today, but I know you have to be very careful. I know.
Right.
I know. I know. They don't want to walk with me.
But I'll see if I can help her get home.
Yeah. Or lady, do you need any help with your bags? Shmuley, I'm your mommy. Oh, it's all good. I'm just joking. Everything. They used to say, don't talk Hebrew and don't talk English. If it's Hebrew, they'll hear your accent. English, they'll know you're not from us. So just don't talk when my friends come, please.
Oh,
it's okay, that's the age. Not well enough. I called one of the teachers and I said, it's Will Heron of Itzik Beinzun. He says to me, I'm sorry, lady, I don't speak English. I don't understand English. But I'm working on it. I'm learning Yiddish. because I love it. No, I listen to podcast things in Yiddish, and it really is getting. And then I talk to people that I feel comfortable with, like my grandchildren. They're 5 and under. They can handle my mistakes. Anyway.
Would you like a little book about learning Yiddish?
Oh,
Would you
thank
like
you.
it?
I'd like to borrow it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We're not gonna use it anymore.
Thank
You can
you.
have it.
Oh, we can all learn together.
Did
Why?
you just get?
A book to learn Yiddish.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So.
So Avraham Avinu had 10 major tests. The first one, Lech Lecha, and to go out of your comfort zone of your family, of what you're used to for all these years, and to come to a place unknown. Eretz HaCharek, didn't tell. He didn't tell. So we're like in the unknown, being his children. What's going to be? Can I get to the post office and back? Should I leave now or in 10 minutes? Which bus should I take? Should I walk? Should I stay home? and it's like, okay, Hashem, hold me up. I'm in your hands. It's like unknown, you know? It's the unknown. And that feeling is unsettling as it is it's like, I'm in your hands. Every morning he woke up. Where should I go? On his way to Eretz Yisrael? GPS. Hashem said, make a right. Made a right. Go to the south. He went to made a left. Like Hashem is showing us. I said, okay, Hashem, just show me where to go, please. And could it be safe? And then I'm off. And then we're off with a smile because we're Baruch Hashem in good hands. So also Avraham Avinu was Isha Chesed. He had Achnasas Orchim, and this is how one of the ways he brought people close to Hashem. After the meal, they said that was really delicious. Look, he gives 3 idol worshippers a tongue. He chefs 3 cows to get, God bless you, to get 3 tongues for them. Im chardal, Rashi says, with mustard. And
the trick of every Jewish
right. And so they say, thank you very much. He says, don't thank me, thank Hashem. Thank Hashem. Well, it's good to start early. We usually start 10:15. This is a history. We started like 5 to 10. Thank you, Karen. And finally get to some of what I prepared. So back to his chesed. It was the 3rd day of his bris. He was sitting the Pesach HaOhel at the opening of his tent, which had on each side a door so that guests, he wouldn't miss a trick, he wouldn't miss a guest. I didn't know you were there. I didn't see you. No, I want you. What was he doing? Hoping and praying for guests. The 3rd day is the most painful after the bris. And Hashem took the sun out of its like pocket. So it was on him. It was very, very, very hot. And yet that's where he is, hoping for guests. Now, if there is no guest, there's no mitzvah of having a guest. There's no guest to have the mitzvah. He wanted it. He yearned for it. He had Mesiras Nefesh, wanting Hashem, please send me a guest. And we have that also. It's so precious to Hashem when we yearn for what's good. Okay, there's no guest. I want it. I want to do this mitzvah. Okay, it's Monday now. I want Shabbos. I want to be happy on Shabbos. I want the food. Please could the food come out good. Please could everyone be like with shalom and with each other. Please could it be pleasant. Please could we feel true joy of the gift that you gave us and accept it the way you gave it. Matana Tova. We can daven for that on Motzei Shabbos right after Havdalah. We could certainly today. It's Monday. We're getting closer, and this imbued us with the desire of mitzvahs, desire of guests, and yet afterwards he davened for Sodom. This imbues us with tefillah, because it's interesting. This is like most elaborate, most lengthy idea or description in the Torah, Achnasas Orchim, and afterwards in the Parsha of Tefillah, where he says to Hashem, and these were really, really Rishayim. They weren't like bad. They were like bad with a diploma. You know, they were really, really bad in Sodom and Amorah. And he prayed for them as if they'd be like, you know, and he cared so much. That's a tzaddik who cares about the lowest person, cares so much. And he did save Lot. And so from this, Achnasas Orchim, the angels didn't eat food. In fact, they didn't eat. They just pretended. They did him a favor. Why did the Torah give us an example where somebody was like dying of hunger and he made him a meal and he saved his life? Here, it didn't really help. They were angels, which he didn't know. He thought they were idol worshippers. And look what he did for them. And after the prayer of Sodom, it didn't help. Hashem overturned Saddam. Remember, he asked if there are 50 people, would you save it? Then he went down all the way to 10. There weren't 10. So what do we learn from this? We learned that even when it seems like our chesed does not help, we visit somebody, we visit the sick, and they're not there. They left the hospital the day before. Oh, I went all the way, half hour each way, or I made cake for them, and no, everything that we, he imbues us with the meat of chesed, and whether the malachim needed it or not, it becomes our reality. It changes us. It becomes who we are. And also about the davening. Daven to Hashem. Why didn't the Torah give us an example where, yes, he made a big Yeshua from his prayers, and then we can say, oh, prayers work. Because that's exactly what the Torah wants to teach us, that it seemingly doesn't work. Seemingly was for in vain, but it's anything but in vain. It's anything but in vain because it changes us. It makes us who we are. It gives Hashem nachas. It brings us closer. Every prayer before we get answered, like your prayers, when we get answered and you move to Eretz Yisrael, it's with so much revealed love, and everything fits. And there's places that Hashem wants us to ask more, and brings us close to Hashem. That's already an answer. That's already a Yeshua. That we have this closeness, that we look to Him, whether it's a doctor or the bombs or whatever. I made a mistake. I used to sing Moidani Lefanecha, bum bum bum. And then I got there was a coat right when I woke up, so I changed it to la la la, because I don't want to be responsible for this. I can't have this on my shoulders. So it looks like he davened for Sodom. The tefillah ended in failure. It looks like it ended in failure, but it was effective. It saved Lot's life, and out of Lot came Moab. Out of Moab comes Ruth, and out of Ruth comes Mashiach. So out of this failure, in quotes, comes our whole geula. And so we never have to worry, because that's up to Hashem. That's up to Hashem. He takes care of the results. We just have to do. And he was so much craving for a guest. And that teaches us the beauty and the depth and the purity, and how important it is to want what's right. Even in the Akedah, which was his, later on, his 10th test, when he was told to bring Yitzchak up, he never touched Yitzchak, right? He didn't do anything. How did he overcome the test? All his his faith for sure, but all his yearning. His yearning is so precious. When we yearn for something good, it's like ratzon is very, very high. Desire, but I didn't make it. I yearned to have such a Shabbos that I had in my mind, and it was like a flop. The food was a flop. The mood was a flop. You yearned for it. That's very precious to Hashem, and it changes the whole reality. And so yearning, we learn from him yearning, and it doesn't say when Hashem came to Abraham, it says Vayera elav Hashem. That's the beginning of this parsha. Hashem appeared to Abraham. It's the third day. He was outside after his bris. Didn't say what Hashem said to him. Okay, he came. Now what? Hashem, it didn't matter. He said, I'm making my presence within you, that you should have cheshek, yearning, desire, ratzon for chesed with the guest, and for tefillah with Sodom. Hashem appeared. And that's like the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim. I don't know what to say to the person. I mean, I'm not a clown. I'm not a nurse. What am I going to say? How am I going to chill? Just show up. Just show up. Hashem is teaching us, you don't have to say anything. Just be there. Just be there. Just share with them what they're going through. And that's Bikur Cholim. How the dynamics from heaven help the person by visiting them, or help Sodom that ended up getting. That's not our cheshbon. That's not our worry. That's not, we don't have to think about that. We have to do. You do. As one Rav said, you do good. You do in Yiddishkeit, do mitzvahs. The good will stay, and all the bad will just fall away. Just keep doing. Just keep doing. Because if we make all these cheshbonos and all these, we'll never get out of bed. Wait, should I? Did I? Would I? Should I call her? Is it too soon? Too late? Too early? How will she? I try to have a little meeting with Hashem before. It's like I'm going to go on to a $1 million meeting at the bank. So I discuss it with my lawyer before, or with my coach. I say the financial coaches. Well, I have a financial coach and a psychologist and a best friend. he's all wrapped in one and he's always available 24/7. And I say, Hashem, I'm about to call her. Please, could it be a nice time for her? And she's not in the middle of like, the kids are crying or the macaroni is over, flowing on the stove. And please, could she be open to my words, relax, and please, can I say the right words? Then I go into it. 10 agarot stuck up. Very, very.
That's a great
Sometimes.
technique.
And then I know, even if, Mommy, I can't talk to you now, the kids are crying, or even if I hear that my words aren't being accepted, or just sometimes Hashem just help me to listen.
Yeah.
Like when we visit someone, just to listen. And then it's a win-win, because if it goes wrong, okay, I asked you, we had a plan. I did my best, and that's the rest. Leave, how do you say, you do what's right and leave
Hashem will do what's left.
Yeah. So we basically, when we narrow it down and shave off everything else, life is so easy and simple. Sof davar, Shlomo says in Koheles, everything is in the hands of heaven. Just want to do what's right. I don't have to worry about wars. I don't have to worry about banks. I don't have to worry about the doctor's report. To do hishtadlus because Hashem wants me to. Have to maybe eat well or exercise or like dance, because that's after that or during that. It's all you, Hashem. People sometimes the opposite. I'm so involved in things that I can't make a difference about. I'm so worried, which worry never ever helps. What is worry? It's interest we pay to misfortune. I said, if I have the Sarah, I have to put an interest and rivit and samud.
That's
right. Daga are the first 5 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Aleph, Gimel, Dalet, and Hey, but there's something missing. The base is missing from Daga. There's an Aleph, a Gimel, a Dalet, and a Hey. Da'aga. There's no base. Yesh bitachon, ein daga. Yesh daga, ein bitachon. So simple. It's so simple. Life could be so sweet. Mitzvahs are nimot, are very, very simple, very sweet. If we're making them heavy and hard, we're doing something wrong. Because they're meant to be just so sweet. What could be sweeter than a Shabbos? Whoa. So the tefillahs pile up. Looks like we're not accomplishing. And one good tefillah can get them all through. One good tefillah, like the rabbis, mostly Hasidic, I can't say maybe every rabbi says the Or HaMor brings down that the mincha on Friday before Shabbos can bring up all the prayers of the whole week and all the words that I spoke the whole week. And good. And that's the mincha of Erev Shabbos. And I could bring up the whole week. The Pele Yoetz says this also. The same thing is true for mitzvahs. If a chesed seems not to be working out, I'm trying so hard to help this person, and she's not responding, she's not getting better, she's not getting happier. One chesed could just swoop it all up. Like you said, we can be here in 1 minute. When the Yeshua comes, it comes. And all we have to do is put in a little bit more money in the bank. We have to, another chesed, another smile, and we have another stone, another brick in the Beis HaMikdash. Wow, it's going to come down in fire, hopefully today. And we're part of it. We're building it right now. We're building it as we sit at this table. We're building it with all the good that we do. That's our job. What did we say last week? Instead of listening to the news, like who sent what and which rocket, you can make the news. What about listening to the news if you can make it? We're like movers. We do our tehillim, we do our dancing, we do our smiling, our moida'ani, and we're changing the map. We're changing history. We're bringing Mashiach. And we're the generation, like the women, you always say this, the women from after Mitzrayim, the women, the Dorodeya, the women that entered, we have that power. That's us, man. That's us. I look at you and I feel that. I know it because you're powerful. You do it and you believe it and you bring us into your circle.
That's so nice how other people see me.
Yeah, that's how Hashem sees you. When you look,
my voices were not nice.
when you look in the mirror, that's how you should see yourself. Because all our inner voices are Mr. Stupid something that says you're bad, you're slow, you're mean, you're selfish. I don't even.
That's Douglas.
That's color.
This is the
That's
Zuma,
lies.
This is like
lies.
this is what came into us as our subconscious that we're like, we're not good enough for others, we're comparing that. All that is what we're all making a ticket on that. And Avraham Avinu is the one who's it's like he's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I know this is right, I know there's God, and he was just a chariot. He didn't have any, he was totally bittul, completely bittul. His soul was totally riding his body completely.
And we're his children. And
And
we
we're
get rid of
children,
that
we get-
stupid
right, we
Satan, or that stupid Nachash that's slithering his way into our unconscious to say, you're bad, you're lazy, you're no good, why dance? It's a fake, why smile? Why get up? Just turn over. Oh, you're right. Good night. No, you're wrong. And don't even, Dover told us that Rebbetzin Heller, Rebbetzin Gottlieb said, what was Chava's mistake? That she allowed the Nachash, the snake, to start talking to her.
Yeah.
Don't let him have a foot in the door. Don't even listen to him. Don't even open that email. Just don't. You know what I mean? That's the first step. Just and we have the strength to do it because we're the powerful generation of us women here. Oh, Miriam. So we're bringing Mashiach one step at a time, and we don't have to turn into pretzels and turn into like 180 degree. Just one more thing. Softly, gently. And if days that we can't, or it's heavy or hard or gray or not exciting, fine. Those days are also good. I give you everything. When Mashiach comes, he's going to tell the story of each of us. Each of us is going to have a book. Aviva, Malka. Each of us is going to have a book, and it's going to tell our daily struggles, triumphs, desires, because the desire in our heart is so pure. Gets messed up, mixed up. There is a gullus. There is a lot that want us. That
Yeah, that is interesting.
That's how Al Pi Chasidus, I learned it, and we're front center, and we can be proud even of our bad days because what's so bad about our bad days? What's so bad? And we're in the middle, and you know how we know it's not over yet? It's not yet good. When it gets over, that's a sign that it's good. It's going to be a good ending for all of us. Hopefully today, maybe in this world, hopefully, but if we just try our part, that's all Hashem wants, and he takes care of what's left. And so life could be just so relaxing and easy. These turbulent times don't have to be inner turmoil. Yaakov Avinu, it's a test. And I'm not making light of it, but when he said, go from your land last week, Lech Lecha, Eretz Asher Areka, to the place I will show you. Where am I going to go? I'm lost. It's dark. It's confusing. What do they want? When are they going to send another Azakah? Where am I? What's going to be? Where should I live? This is Hashem Mitzadeh Gever. We say Mechem Mitzadeh Gever. We say every morning in our morning prayers, our morning blessings. He shows us where to go. He shows us. I was also outside I was near the post office right here, and I was outside, and it's the first time I was really stuck outside. And I said to this man, where do I go? What should I do? I said, stick to the building, stay away from the windows, and pray. Okay. And they were all watching Baruch Hashem, we're here to smile and laugh about it because we're not going anywhere because Hashem is inside of us. Hashem is us. Yisrael, Araisa, B'Kuch V'Kucharu. We, the Torah, and dear Hashem, we're all one. How can we be one? One is a set of books of teachings. One is Hashem, the infinite, and one is us. No, he's inside of us. He's inside. There's a little bit of him in each of us. And so I know you know the story. You could tell this story, but I love it so much. I have to share it because it feeds me. So Rabbi Aryeh Levine is one of my idols. So he went to the lepers and he went to the prisons and he helped all the Jews that were down and out and that were sinning and that were, in prison for a reason. And he loved the boys. He loved the teenagers, even if they were falling off the derech or getting in pain and they would be smoking on Shabbos and he'd see them. They often put the cigarette behind their back and squished it out. There's probably a more fancy word for that, and it hurt their finger, but they didn't want to make him feel bad because he had so much love for them. So this one guy who his yarmulke got smaller and smaller till there was no yarmulke. And Reb Aryeh Levine loved him and always wanted to meet him. And he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed not to make him feel bad, to disappoint him, and also for where he was in life. So every time he saw him, he would sneak away. He saw him over there. He'd go into this alley, this house, this building, until he passed. One time it was up. His luck was up. He couldn't go because he saw him and he said, "Hi." And he starts running to him, and he couldn't escape. I have to see this because I just love this. I get excited each time. So he was a very, very tall boy, like 6'4". 6 foot is not 6'2", very tall. And Reb Aryeh Levine, which I never knew till this story, was like 5'4", and he's running after him. And so running now, he catches up to him and he says, "Hi, how are you? I've been wanting to see you." And he answers, Reb Aryeh, "Why do you like me? Why do you care about me? You understand? You see, I know I don't have covering, and look at me. Why do you love me so? Why do you care?" And so he answers like this. Now remember, the boy's very tall and he's very short. It says, "When my eyes meet, I see your heart." That's where his eyes were up to. He was much taller. And if we see the heart, the tzaddikim see our heart. Hashem sees our heart. Rahman boy, he wants our heart. And it says, to navi et libchem. The Navi says, "Give me your heart, and everything else will fall in place." And when we can do that, we're one with Hashem. Lev is the whole Torah, Bereshis and Yisrael. Starts with a base, it ends with a lamed. That's Lev. The heart of the world is Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim. And we're the heart of the world, us women. So let's get together and dance before Mashiach. You're ready? You're going to be our leader.
Oh, yeah? I always say I should carry around a speaker.
Well, let's start with this.
I did something about this idea. It's like it's coming more and more into focus. This idea of if my heart isn't something, and like when you're saying you're calling your daughter, if you ask for something in the heart, I want to do a mitzvah, I want to do something helpful today. So I can't control who's going to really come in my life. Like we think that we can control everything. We're busy making phone calls, we're writing it on your mind. And we go there, and we really think that we can actually control reality, which we can to some extent. But sometimes that might actually where we're supposed to be doing. We need to, if we give Hashem our heart, and we say, "I really want to be productive today for you," like, and really, really want it. So then Hashem will make that happen. We don't control the world. We don't run it. We don't like make this person come here and this person, and then like all of a sudden, right, this circumstance happens.
And when the person comes, that's Hashem sending her for me to either smile at her, ask her advice, give her advice, just say, "How are you doing?" I find that on the bus when I go to Yerushalayim, I ask Hashem, "Please, could I have a seat for myself?" Because I'm snobby and I just want to spread out. But if someone sits next to me, please, either I help her or she help me. And if somebody's not dressed right, so firstly I say, "Do you have a tefillah sederet on you?" The bracha for, and they check in their pants pocket. You're like, "Wow, I'm part of the tribe. She's not looking down on me. She has, no, I forgot it at home," or she has one. She gives it to me. It's a triumphant smile. "Here, I'm one of you." And the way I look, that's like, wow. And I just look that way. It's part of my, and she just said, I think about often in the morning. I heard this at a shir once, and it just stayed in my heart, that every morning, if you look under your pillow, you'll find a note from Hashem. It says, "Dear Aviva," dear Pesha Miriam. He calls me Pesha Miriam. And that's me. This is my to-do list for you for today. And I have full faith in you, like Rabbi Munasech, you can do it. And on that list, very different than our list. My list was go to the school and pay for last month's food, and then get the tire change, and then buy food for. And his list is get stuck in traffic. Daughter comes home from school with a headache. Oh, I ruined my afternoon. That's Hashem's list, and I would much rather put a V on his list for me than on my list for me.
Yeah.
So I'm in your hands. Of course, I have to make a list. I'm not going to stay in bed all day waiting for Hashem to tell me, "Miriam, go to the post office. Miriam, make lunch. Your kids are coming home in 10 minutes." oh, but I will do and be proactive. But all with that, like, was my will and his. Remember, Bilam, it was only his will. Balak, he didn't care about Hashem's will. Will, Hashem gives a lot. He gives a lot of COVID, a lot of weight, and a lot of the word kavod, the COVID, weight and honor to our will. Our will is our neshama talking. But let's hope that we're in tandem, we're in sync with Hashem's will. So if this is my will and this is Hashem's will, I want to do that intersection. That's what it's a win-win. Because he wants us to be happy, he wants us to be fulfilled, and he wants us to go, who said, with the drumming of our heart, to live our lives. And that's how we could do it, by asking him, help me to help me to do your will. Please. That will make me happy, fulfilled, that will give other people good, and that will help bring Mashiach another good. So when it comes down, hey, that's my brick over there. You see, it says my name on it. See, it says hi over there.
Next to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're gonna have one row, Bas Medrash row.
Yes.
Like a wing in a hospital. This is dedicated by,
Yes.
Harvey Scott family and children. This is Bas Medrash. May it come soon in our days. Today. Yeah. And I'll drink to that. Oh,